Hello, welcome to the Antisocial Club. I'm Diamondalexis. Today we will be making the Shrug. These are all the things you're gonna need. Very simple. This is very easy. So you're gonna need an 8mm hook. 8mm hook. You're gonna need a skein of yarn. This is size 4 acrylic yarn. Whatever yarn you want, but I'm using a size 4 acrylic yarn. If you do it in a different yarn and in a different weight, you'll have to kind of figure it out from there. But this is kind of just to give you the basics of how I made mine. Gonna need some scissors, and you're gonna need 4 stitch markers. So yeah, that's all you're gonna need. Let's get started. So I showed in the beginning what you want to do to get your measurements. Excuse Adonis, I don't know why he's over there sighing. But I'm gonna go ahead and chain 72. I just remember that's what I chained for my first one, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. I'm gonna chain 72. Also, like I said, keep in mind this will be steamed. At least I'm gonna steam mine, so it is gonna be a bit bigger. So I'm gonna go ahead and chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in order to keep your chain, or keep it from like twisting, because you're gonna be working in the round, you just want to take your hook, put it in that, put it in that very first stitch, like this. And then you're gonna take your hook, put it back through where you were chaining, and you're gonna chain like this. That way it'll keep your chain from twisting. So that way when you go to do a slip stitch, put them together, you'll already like know where you need to do it. So we're at 5, so I'm going to chain 72. So the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 71, 72. So that's 72. So what you're gonna do now that you have 72, well, now that I have 72, whatever number you stop on, but I'm gonna see I already have my hook in the beginning where I need to close it off. I'm gonna take my loop that's on my hook and I'm just going to pull it through just like that, and then boom, you are now going to be crocheting in a round. So that's just easier than having to kind of figure out how to keep it straight, go all the way down, then do it. So that's just a little trick. So after that, you're going to chain 4. I am doing the mesh stitch. You don't have to do the mesh stitch. If you don't want to do the mesh stitch, you would just go in each stitch all the way around, just like that. If you don't want to do a double crochet, you don't have to do double crochet. You can do half double crochet. It's whatever you want to do. This is just how I did it. Okay, so, and I'm doing the mesh stitch. So for the mesh stitch, remember I chained 4, so I'm gonna yarn over and I'm gonna do a double crochet, and I'm gonna skip a stitch and then do a double crochet in this very next stitch. So double crochet into this stitch, you do double crochet and then you chain 1, and then same thing, skip a stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, double crochet, chain 1, same thing. You just kind of keep doing it. You're gonna skip a stitch, go into the next, double crochet, yarn over, chain 1, skip a stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, double crochet, chain 1. You're just gonna do that all the way around until you get back to the beginning. It's the same stitch that we did for the do-rag, the turban. It's the same stitch as all those. I know a lot of people don't like the mesh stitch. That's fine. This is just what I do. I like the mesh stitch. It helps me not to work on a project for too long, because I don't like working on stuff for too long. So if you don't want to do a mesh stitch, that's perfectly fine. If you don't want to use an 8mm hook, that's fine as well. If you don't want to use size 4 acrylic yarn, you don't have to. You can literally use whatever you want. I feel like as long as you have the measurements and you have a basic idea of how to make it, you should be all right. Okay, so now that we're at the end, you're gonna take it, and I just go through the middle of the like hole right here. I just go through the middle and then slip stitch and then chain 4. And it is very, very, very important that you turn your work. So make sure you turn your work. So we're gonna go this way and we're gonna do the same thing. And you're just gonna do this for 3 rows. So this is the second row. You're gonna do it for 1 more row. And then I'll be back to let y'all know how to do the next row. Okay, so now we are done with the 3rd row. Just gonna slip stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, turn your work. So what we're actually gonna do is we're gonna take this middle part where the seam is, and we're going to even it out to the other side, probably about like right there. What we're gonna do is take our 4 pins and you're gonna do a clip on this side. I'm gonna do it like here. You can do the same thing on the other side, so like right here. Same thing down here. So put a clip there. Do it on the other side. I'm gonna put it about there. That way you have clips on either side, and see they're in the middle. And then what you want to do is every time there's a clip, you're gonna do 2 stitches. You're gonna do 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So you're gonna do an increase basically. So grab our yarn. We're gonna go to do the mesh stitch like normal, or whatever stitch you're doing. Just gonna do it all the way till I get to my first clip. And then when I get to my first clip, which is right here, you're gonna do double crochet, chain 1, but you're gonna go back into that same stitch where the clip is, do another double crochet, and then chain 1. That way you have an increase right there. So you have 2 stitches in 1. And you're gonna do that you're gonna do the same thing for the other, you're gonna do the same thing for the other stitches that have a clip in it, or a marker, a stitch marker. So just go around. So this one has a stitch marker. I'm gonna put 2. That's an increase, and then go around to the other side, of course. So again, we're here where the marker is. I accidentally put it in the wrong thing. So we're going to put 2 double crochets here. I would recommend putting a stitch marker that doesn't match the color of your work, because it's easier to see. Again, we're where the stitch marker is, so you're gonna go into there, double crochet, chain 1, go back in to that same stitch, double crochet, chain 1. That way you have 2 stitches in one. I'm just gonna go around. And you're gonna do that for every row after. You're gonna just increase. So slip stitch, 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to turn your work. Turning your work helps your seam be straight. That way it's not like slanting or anything. It'll just help it be straight. We're gonna continue with the mesh stitch like we've been doing. So what I like to do, so I see there's 2 here. So if there's 2 here, I like to go in this very first one, and that's where I'll do my increase. So we're gonna increase in this very first one, right? So we're gonna go into this one. Gonna put 2. That'll be our increase, and then just 1 in the next one. So you only put an increase in one of them. So here's the increase from the last row. When I get to there, I look at both of those stitches. I put an increase in the very first stitch, and then just 1 in the next stitch, so no increase. I'll show it again. So again, we're here where there's 2 in 1 stitch. So you see there's 2 stitches in this 1 stitch right here where the stitch marker is. So in this very first double crochet in the increase, that's where you're gonna do your increase for the second row. So you just put 2, and then you don't do an increase in that one, you just do 1. And you're gonna do the same thing for the other stitches on the other side. Also, I keep the stitch markers in. I don't move them. I just leave them in so I'll know like if I get like 5 down, so like if I get 5 rows down, if I see this stitch marker, I'll still know like, okay, my increase is somewhere around here. I need to be looking for it. I don't move it every time, every row. Some people do, but I don't. To me, it's just not necessary, especially if you can see that there's 2 in 1 stitch. So I can see that there's 2 here. I mean, if you want to, you can move this, put it here. That way you'll know like, hey, this is where you can put it here like, hey, this is where the increase is. But you don't have to. You don't have to. And because we're doing it like, we're turning our work, our first stitch on this row will be here. So this will have the increase. So every row is like opposite. So in this one, we increased in the first stitch, which is right here. Since in the next row, we'll be going this way instead of this way. This will be where the increase is. In the next row, it'll be this one. And the next one, it'll be that one. So it'll just keep switching. But if you want to move your stitch marker and put it in the middle of the 2, that way you know, okay, these are where the 2 are, you can. But you don't have to. I don't move mine. Like I said, I just kind of keep them where they are. That way I know, like, okay, my increase is coming up, but I don't necessarily need to move the stitch, you know? So, like, this is where my increase is about to be. So this is where I put the increase, and then I keep going. And remember remember, you don't have to crochet extra tight, especially if you're gonna steam it. If you're not gonna steam your work, you need to do everything like bigger because you want it to be oversized. If you don't want it to be oversized, that's fine, but I want mine to be oversized, so I'm crocheting really loose. That way when I steam it, everything stretches out even more. So we're at the end, and you're just going to slip stitch and go chain 4, and then again turn your work. Gonna continue with the mesh stitch. So see, I see this red, that means my increase is coming up, which it is right here, the next stitch. So we're gonna put 2 in this one, which is the very first one, and then 1 in the next one. And you're just gonna do that all the way around. Keep doing that same thing like we did for the last row, increasing where the last increase is. And I'm just gonna continue doing this until I get to 8 rows. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna do 2 more rows. And I'll be back. Just remember to increase whenever you see the 2. Like I said, if you need to move the stitch marker every time you increase, that is perfectly fine, if that's what helps you like remember where you need to increase. Okay, so I did my rows, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I did 8 rows. So now what I'm gonna do, take my clips. Now I'm gonna take them out, and let me do this side first. So what you want to do is you want to put a clip in the increase that's closest to the edge. So there's the increase, see there's 2 in 1 stitch, so you want to put it in this one because it's closer to this edge over here. So just gonna clip that in there. Same thing on this side. So here's the increase. You're gonna put it in this one because it's closer to the edge over on this side. And you want to do the same thing on this opposite side. Take it out, put it on the increase, put it on the stitch closer to the edge. Same thing. Gotta put it there. And boom. So this is the fun part. Now we're gonna start doing the arms. So I chained 4. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my mesh stitch. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do it all the way down. This is gonna be your last row of increasing. So again, you get to that first increase. We're gonna do our increase still. So we're gonna put 2 in that 1 stitch. Whoa, what is happening? So we did our increase still, we did that 2 in the 1 stitch. But what we're going to do is, this is the armhole. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a stitch in this one, put a double crochet, and we are going to chain however many double crochets are between this stitch right here and this stitch right here. And what we're going to do is count the actual post and the stitches in between that we skipped. If you didn't skip a stitch, you could just count all the posts. If you did skip a stitch like I did, you want to also count the space in between here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So we're going to chain 19. And you want to do it very loosely. Not super loose, but you want to do it loose. So 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18, 19. When you chain the 19, what you want to do is connect it to this other side. You're going to connect it with a double crochet, so you're going to yarn over. I like to hold this in my hand and then yarn over. I hold this part right here, go through, and then do a double crochet. Just like that. And then chain 1, and boom. See, you have a hole, and that's where your arm is going to go through. And you're basically going to do the same thing on that side. So again, remember there is an increase here. So again, you're going to put 2 right here. And then 1. And then 1. And you're just going to go all the way to the other side. Doing no increases in between here. Just 1 in each. And then when you get to the increase on the other side, that's when you'll do the increase. Okay, so we're at the increase. So again, I'm gonna put 2 in this one stitch. And we're gonna do the 19 like we did on the other side. So remember, you're gonna put a double crochet where the stitch is, and then we're gonna chain 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Again, same thing. Gonna take our hook, put it in here, do a double crochet, chain 1, put another double crochet, and then after that there's no more increasing. So even for the next rows there won't be any increasing. So we're just gonna do 1 all the way around, all the way around. Okay, so we're back on this side. Slip stitch, turn your work. So you can see you have the 2 armholes. You have it on this side as well. If you like, you can try it on. Make sure your arms go through. What I was doing for my first one, this one I'm not gonna steam it until the very end, but for my first one, I would steam everything. That way you can get it to the size that you want. Try it on, and then I was doing it by like sections. So I would steam this, try it on, make sure it was to like my arms, where I wanted my arms to be. After I wanted my arms to be, then I did the chains. Then I did maybe 2 rows, steamed it again, made sure, and then I went all the way down. And I kind of just would steam like once I got to the end part of the bottom, so I could see where I wanted to stop, because I didn't want it to be too long, but I didn't want it to be like cropped either. I wanted it to sit a certain way. So I would steam it in between just so you can get a like look to see like how it looks on, and try it on a few times, because I tried mine on like a few times when I was doing my first one. I'm not gonna try this one on, like I said, because I'm doing it the same exact way. So again, 2, 3, 4. What we're gonna do is we're going to, of course, continue with the mesh stitch. Now we don't have to worry about the increasing because we're no longer increasing. So you want to just go, and then when you get to the chain, hold on, get to the chain. What we're gonna do is actually, however many posts are down here, that's how many your double crochets you're gonna put in this right here. So down here there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you don't include the ones where the stitch markers are on top of, just the ones on the inside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you're gonna put 8 stitches in here. So let me show y'all. So I did my double crochet with the chain 1, and I'm just going to go around it. You can go through the stitch, but I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna go around. So you're just gonna go around. So that's 1. Still doing the mesh stitch. This is 2. Oh, what is this? 2. 3. 4. 5. And then 8. And then, of course, double crochet, chain into the actual post where the stitch marker's in. And there you have 8 in here. So it'll look just like that. And you're gonna go all the way around, do the same thing on the other side. Again, no increasing, so no need to increase where the 2 stitches are, just 1 in each. But you're gonna do the same thing on the other side, putting the 8 double crochets on the chain that we did. Again, just 1 in each of these. And we're gonna do 8 double crochets around the chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 8. And then of course 1 here. No more increasing, so just 1. All right. Again, turn your work. And now we're just going to do the mesh stitch, no more increasing, all the way around, all the way down. And I'm gonna do mine for 10 more rows. That way I have a total of 11 rows, including this one. So I'm gonna do 10 more rows all the way down, no increasing or anything. And once I do that, I'll be back and we can get started on the arms. Okay, so I finished my 12 rows, and I also did one of the sleeves, and I'm gonna show y'all how to do the other sleeve. This is what it'll look like. Keep in mind it looks really small and short because when we steam it, it'll be really, really long. So this is what it looks like before the steam. But let's get started. I'm gonna show y'all how to do this armhole. The arms are really easy. There's only, I think, 14 rows for the arms. So this is what the arm looks like. And what I did was So I could make it exactly like how I made this one because I really love the fit of this one. I marked everywhere there's a decrease. So for the first row, that we're gonna do to start the arm, which is in here, we're gonna crochet 22 double crochets all the way around. And we're gonna still continue doing the mesh stitch. So I'm gonna show y'all how to do that. So we're gonna take our yarn, we're gonna do a slip knot. And what I like to do is find the top of the shirt. So this is the top. Let's move this green out the way. I find the top of the shirt, and then I find the bottom of the sleeve. So this is the sleeve that we're doing. You're gonna find the bottom. That way the seam is at the bottom of the sleeve and not at the top. So we're gonna start our double crochet here. And what I like to do is yarn over and then just go ahead and start the double crochet. So I don't do like a chain one or anything. So that's our one. I'm gonna do two. Uh-oh, I forgot to chain one. So that's one, two, and I'm just going in between the posts. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 20, 21, and then usually I'm back here, so I just put the 22. Either you can put it in the same one as this one or put it in the same one as this one. It doesn't really matter. You just want to make sure you have 22. So 22, and then we go through the middle and we slip stitch. And then like we've been doing, you chain 4 and then you turn your work. Remember to turn your work so that way your seam is straight. So we're gonna go back around, making sure to actually go through the stitches this time. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna decrease at the end of the row. So I'm gonna go around. So we're at the end, and basically to decrease, I don't know if y'all can see. So usually we would put another one in here, but since we're decreasing, we're going to skip this. And we're just going to go ahead and slip stitch into the stitch, and that's how you decrease. And you're gonna do that for 3 rows. So this is row number 1. We're gonna do that again for this row, and I just do them at the ends. You could do it at the beginning if you wanted to. So instead of doing it at the ends, you could just skip this one. You could just skip this one and then go into there. But I don't know, for some reason I like doing it at the end. So we're just gonna do it at the end again. And the great thing about doing the mesh stitch is you can't tell that there's like a stitch missing. I mean, we can tell, but regular people wouldn't be able to tell. And honestly, because it's at the bottom where the seam is, you wouldn't even be able to see it, so it's fine. But we're just gonna go all the way around till we get to the end, and then we're going to decrease again. Because we're decreasing, take this one out, and we're going to skip that one. And we're going to go ahead and slip stitch into this post. So just take it, slip stitch, and see it's skipped. You chain 4, turn your work, and we're going to do that again, one more row. Again, we're at the end, so we're going to skip this one, do slip stitch, 2, 3, 4, and now what we're gonna do, let me just do this one, is, okay, so we just ended row 4, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 is the last row we did with the decrease. And so for the 5th row, we're gonna not do any decreasing, we're gonna just keep going, and then we're gonna do that for row 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And once we do 10, I'm gonna come back, and for row 11, that's when we'll start our decreasing again. So like I said, I'll come back and I'll show y'all, but just know you go to row 10, and then 11 is where you start back decreasing. So again, just a reminder, we're not decreasing, so you do want to actually go into the last one this time, and then you're gonna do a slip knot. And then chain 4. So see, we went into that one, and then of course turn your work. And remember, we're gonna do that all the way to row 10. Okay, so this is the end of row 10. Chain 4. So okay, so again, we're at the end of row 10. What we're gonna do is decrease for 4 rows, and then the very last row, yeah, we're gonna decrease in that row as well. So we're gonna do 14 more rows. We're gonna do 4 more rows, and each row we're gonna decrease. So we stopped at 10. This chain that I just did is the start of 11. So for 11, 12, 13, 14, we are going to decrease. And remember, we're gonna decrease at the end, and decreasing, you just skip a stitch basically. So the very last post you won't go into, you'll skip that one, and that's how we're decreasing. Hopefully I'm making sense. Okay, so we're at the end. Remember, we're decreasing, so we're going to skip this post and just go ahead and slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. That one is skipped. We're going to turn our work. Do the same thing. Decrease on this row, and you're going to do that for 3 more rows, including this one. So you want to decrease for 4 rows total, basically. So this is what the shirt looks like. This is the back. I don't know if you can see the seam here. This is the front. And actually, I think I'm gonna try it on and see what it looks like without steaming it. That way we can get a comparison before and after. So I'm gonna do that. So we're about to switch angles. Okay, so, whoa. This is what the top looks like. Must you interrupt my video? Sit. Thank you. This is what the top looks like. This is what the top looks like. This is the back. I mean, you could leave it like this if you want it like this, but I always try to steam my stuff because if not, it's like kind of stiff looking. Plus, the sleeves are too short. But once I steam it, they'll get longer. But this is what it looks like so far. Okay, so when I steam it, I like to put it on a hanger. You can probably hear the steamer. And I have these little notches, so I just kind of connect it. That way it's not sliding off. So it'll look like that. And I'm gonna put it on my door. And I kind of just pull it as I'm steaming. So see how much different that looks so far? And I'm not pulling hard. I'm like barely touching it. That's why I always say don't use acrylic if you don't want something to stretch out. So you see what it looks like so far? See how long that side is compared to this side? And this is what it looks like. And that is the finished thing. I wouldn't wear it like this. I personally don't like it with the turtleneck. But y'all get the gist. This is the same as this green one. So the exact same. This is the front. Exact same thing. This one looks a little better because it's dry. This one's kind of wet because of the steam. Honestly, I could probably steam it a little more. But yeah. So see how like the arms, because we made them smaller, they're not too wide. They don't engulf my whole like hand. This is the back. I might steam the middle part some more, just because I know it can get longer. But I won't steam the arms anymore. But this is why I tell y'all, like, when you want to make the duffel bag and stuff like that, I wouldn't recommend cotton, because if you live somewhere like me, I wouldn't recommend acrylic, because if you live somewhere like me where it's hot and you're sweating, imagine wearing this, you're sweating, it's hot, it starts to stretch, because that's what acrylic does. When I wore my scrapbook crochet tank top, I made sure to stretch it, but I couldn't stretch it as much as I wanted to because it was very last minute. So when I wore it to the festival that I went to here in Texas, it was 102 degrees that day. It stretched out some more. So that's why I always say I wouldn't recommend doing bags and stuff in acrylic, because acrylic will stretch. Cotton does not. I have a cotton dress that I made for Christmas one year. I'll insert pictures of me wearing it. That does not stretch. So if you want to use something and it don't stretch, I recommend cotton. I'm not sure about wool. I'm not sure about alpaca. I'm not sure about bamboo. I don't know how those are. I don't know if those will stretch or not. But I know acrylic is essentially like plastic. So heat, it will stretch. But just keep that in mind. If you don't want to have to steam it, or if you steam it and you want it to be like shorter, I would just do less rows. So you could probably get away with doing maybe, I did what, 14 rows? So you might could do 10, you might could do less. I would just play around with the math. But this is what mine looks like. And I wore mine off the shoulder because I just thought it looked better. But you can wear it regular. You could do like a regular neck if you wanted to. You don't have to do it as wide as mine. But that is how I made the green top, and I'll show the green top just so y'all can see it's the same thing. Yeah, see how this is longer? I think I'm gonna steam that one some more so it can be the same thing. But this is the green top, and see, it fits exactly the same. Again, I made it exactly the same. I just steamed this one a little longer. That one I'll steam longer. But that's the front. This is the back. And yeah, I hope that y'all like this tutorial. Hopefully y'all understood it. Hopefully y'all got it. Hopefully it's easy. Hopefully y'all come up with some different ways to like style it and wear it. I'm gonna try to figure out a way to wear it now that it's cold. Plus I need to take some pictures for like thumbnail and stuff. So I'm about to try to figure out how I'm gonna style it now that it's cold. And yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in my next video. Bye.